in the last, I would say, year or 2 week, kind of menopause is having a moment,
Yes.
right? Everybody's talking about menopause. There's some conversation that's igniting around hormones, hormone replacement therapy. So I want to talk about that, but I want to talk about postmenopausal because, women, when we talk about health span or lifespan, women are living longer, but the last 10 years of their life, they're in worse shape than ever, financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, the whole thing. And so my question is, let me begin kind of postmenopausal. Let's just say women 60, 70, 80, 90. What is that women's health journey like? What should women be doing in that time? Let's say they've been working full-time, caregiving, raising kids. They've not been going to the gym. And so now they're postmenopausal, and this whole conversation about menopause is going on over here. What's the conversation they should be having?
So this is where we look at community. Community is very important, and activity. So, as I talk about strength training, it's never, ever too late to start.
Okay.
There have been some recent articles in JAMA, Journal of American Medical Association, looking at doing heavier loads on older women, but using machines, not free weights. And they have been able to improve bone density and muscle quality. So
that's women in their 60s, 70s, 80s?
I think the oldest cohort was 80.
Okay.
So, it's never too late to start.
Okay.
But one of the biggest factors is the community aspect, because we want our friends, we want to be able to laugh, we want to be out in nature. All of these things help with brain health, with immunity, with happiness, getting people out of depression, and feeling connectedness. One of the things that I'm going after now is AI. Because when we're looking at AI, it's learning in the bell curve. And it's learning just in the middle, which again is perpetuating those biases. And why I'm bringing this up is because there's a case study that was looking at AI for physicians. And they had two 70-year-olds. One was a man, one was a woman. They had the same health issues, stress fracture, living alone, not really eating that well. And having depressive episodes. So the AI, learning from the middle of the algorithm, said the man needs intervention. We need to have some home health care. We need to make sure he gets out, has some friends to call. So we need to really step it up and make sure that he remains somewhat healthy or gets better health. For the woman, no, she's fine. I'm like, that is not appropriate. So this is the thing about AI, it's still learning from the biases. So when we start talking about postmenopausal women, we need to really wrap them up and say, you know what, don't listen to all the stuff that's coming out now that's more AI driven. We have to look at what makes a human very resilient and make them human, right? So we see we are not designed to be alone. We need interaction with peers or friends that lift us up. We need physical movement. We want to have some stress on the body that's going to encourage bone and muscle development. As our good friend Gabrielle Lyons always says, we want to be muscle-centric. It's not about what we're losing, but what we're gaining. We're gaining muscle, so we're gaining health. We're also gaining neuroplasticity. And if we're doing that with friends, then that makes everything so much better. So when we're looking at postmenopausal women, one, it's never too late to start a movement activity.
Okay.
And if you do it with friends, it makes it so much better. One, accountability. Two, you have some place to show up and you know that it's a safe space and you're going to have fun. And that whole interaction feeds back to a better time with exercise. You often push yourself a little bit more when you're with friends. And we see that time you spend with your friends reduces depression, anxiety, and boosts our immunity. So all of these things are really important.
But women in this kind of area, I would say 60s and up, the primary thing I hear over and over, I'm terrified of getting dementia. I'm terrified of Alzheimer's. Many of them have taken care of a parent with Alzheimer's. They've seen that up front. They know the statistics. 2/3 of the cases are women. Your increased jumps at 65. So what is it? And then now they're also being told by their doctors to get off of hormones. And so and we don't have the research at all for this cohort. Right? Boomers. And so we don't have any research. So for the millions of women who find themselves in these decades, 60, 70, 80, late 50s, right? Wherever, depending when you went through menopause, community, right? Strength training may be different than a woman who's at midlife, right? Which is different. Sleep always, but then women will say like, oh my God, I can't sleep because what do you like tell them to do if they're really worried about Alzheimer's and their brain health?
Yeah, so we're looking at some of the newer research that's coming out about brain health and Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the tau plaques.
Yeah.
It's about a misstep in brain metabolism. So we see around perimenopause, we start to have a little bit of metabolic inflexibility. So that means we're not using glucose as effectively, which is a precursor to developing some of the tau plaques. So if we are able to do some high intensity work, and high intensity can be high intensity for anyone across the age span, to push ourselves where we're really breathing hard and producing some lactate, that is a really strong preventative medicine type aspect for dementia and Alzheimer's. Because as we produce lactate, it crosses blood-brain barrier and is a preferred fuel for the brain. So it takes care of and starts to reset brain metabolism, reducing that inflexibility. So as much as I talk about, we want to do sprint interval training and high intensity interval training and heavy strength training, yes, we want to start early. But if I'm looking at someone who's in their 70s, like my mom who's turning 80, I know that that's not that viable. So instead we can go, okay, well, I know you go for a walk every day and you go up that hill. So this next time you go up that hill, I want you to really push the pace so you're really out of breath by the time you get to the top. Because that is a situation where they're very familiar with it. They're going to push themselves, they're going to produce a little bit of lactate, and that's the first step towards getting better brain metabolism.